Fascism. This new word struck fear into the heart of Europe and led to a war that became the largest and deadliest armed conflict in the history of mankind. In 1919, the Treaty of Versailles ended World War I. The treaty was designed to restore European stability and maintain lasting peace. Instead, in only 20 years, a single generation later, the brutalizing effects of the war and the punitive measures of the treaty gave rise to an unprecedented threat to freedom. Fascism arose first in Italy as a movement which embraced extreme patriotism, political violence, and an all-powerful state. In Germany, the Nazi Party seduced a nation in economic distress and humiliated by defeat, with dreams of domination and the elimination of all but the Aryan master race. Fascist leaders Adolf Hitler and Benito Mussolini, both veterans of World War I, dreamed of empires based on ultranationalism, using military power to control the people. In 1939, their dreams became the world's nightmare. On September 1st, German troops invaded Poland, triggering Great Britain and France to declare war on Germany. In the next 2 years, 6 more countries, including France, fell to Hitler's armies, while England suffered the relentless bombing known as the Blitz. In the United States, the public's memories of the tragic losses of World War I limited President Roosevelt's ability to offer the Allies anything beyond weapons and supplies. But the country was finally thrust into the war on December 7, 1941, when Germany's ally Japan decimated the American Navy at Pearl Harbor. By 1942, World War II had encircled the globe, forcing nearly every country on Earth to align with one of 2 massive military alliances: the Axis powers, led by Germany, Italy, and Japan, or the Allies, led by Great Britain, the United States, the Soviet Union, France, and China. Technological advances since the last war meant combatants faced weapons of unprecedented power. On the ground, Nazi Germany's fearsome M42 machine gun fired a blistering 1,200 rounds per minute, earning it the nickname Hitler's buzzsaw. In the air, the German Luftwaffe entered the conflict with the best wartime aircraft in the world, the Messerschmitt BG-109. But by 1944, the North American aviation P-51 Mustang, an American long-range fighter bomber, helped ensure Allied air superiority. While the First World War sent combatants into the air, in the Second, they rained from the sky. The M1A1 carbine was designed specifically for paratroopers. The rifle weighed only 5 pounds, and with the stock folded, measured just 25 inches, enabling paratroopers to jump, land, and run. And there weren't only men in the air. The Women Air Force Service Pilots, or WASPs, ferried 77 types of aircraft, encountering dangerous flying conditions and suffering flight-related injuries. According to Allied Commander Dwight D. Eisenhower, the war effort could not have been won without the women in uniform. The war in Europe neared its conclusion with the Allied invasion of Germany. American soldiers marked their victories by lowering Nazi flags and replacing them with Old Glory. One of the final combat missions was the capture of the Eagle's Nest, the Nazis' mountain chalet where Hitler had once entertained heads of state. Triumphant American soldiers celebrated, drank his wine, and gathered souvenirs, including bricks and fabric from the sofas. The fighting in Europe finally concluded with the fall of Berlin, Hitler's suicide, and Germany's surrender on May 8, 1945. The Allied victory was made possible by untold numbers of heroic acts, honored by the American military with decorations such as the Silver Star, Bronze Star, Air Medal, and the Purple Heart. Joining the heroes who fought on the front lines were Americans from all walks of life, whose effort and sacrifice on the home front were essential to the victory over fascism and imperialism. But the war in the Pacific raged on. As Winston Churchill warned in his VE Day announcement,
we may allow ourselves a brief period of rejoicing. But let us not forget for a moment the toils and efforts that lie ahead.